Every financial statement is a weapon. You're taught to read it for compliance, for audit, for investors. But a true strategist reads it for competitive intelligence. You're not looking for compliance. You're looking for a weakness to exploit, a strategic vulnerability. I'm going to teach you how to shift your mindset right now. Welcome to the Business Pivot. Today, we're going to go beyond the numbers and uncovering the secrets of the competitor's balance sheet hides. Alam nyo, para sa isang strategist, this financial statement tells a story of the company. It's not just numbers put together in this financial statements that confuses a lot of these readers. But I'm going to teach you how to shift your mindset from that of an accountant to that of a strategic predator. Kung ano talaga yung purpose ng financial statement, which is to give informed decisions to CEOs, decision makers, external users. We're looking for vulnerabilities and aggressive plans. Now, sabi nila, numbers don't lie, no? So just stick around and you'll find out. First, let's talk about the revenue lie by looking at the income statement. High revenue growth isn't always good. So makita natin mataas yung sales. But if a competitor's revenue is soaring, tumataas, but their cost of goods sold, this cost of goods sold is just below the sales. Kung tumataas rin ito at the same time, there is an alarming rate. They are probably winning with unsustainable discounts, no? Or yung bang a retail store may have yung mga different terms dun sa kanilang installment, no? So tumataas yung sales. But wala namang corresponding cash flows, no? So they are strategically desperate for volume. Your strategic move, don't try to beat their price. I know a lot of this yung mga this retailers who give a lot of these discounts just to lure customers, or if they're pressured to reach their quota, salespeople will give a lot of these terms, but that's not necessarily have this corresponding cash flow to the company. So don't try to beat their price, attack their quality or their service, because they are bleeding margins to grow. Next, we move to the balance sheet to spot the debt trap. Ito yung sa liabilities. A sudden spike in the long-term debt isn't just a risk. It's a strategic bet. So, you may ask yourself, are they taking out a massive loan to fund a sudden capex, huge capex or capital expenditure projects? That means they are planning a pivot in an aggressive market expansion. There are a lot of companies who may be thinking about replacing their old machinery to a new one, and that this will entail a lot of investment, no? Kasi instead of having this variable cost yung sa mga labor, no? Kasi kung hindi kayang i-compensate, if the company cannot compensate its demand or yung required output, let's say for example they wanted about 10,000 output per month, and the equipment can only produce around 5 or 6 thousand. So they will have to invest in other ways, like for example sa mga labor, no? And this will increase their variable cost, which would also increase dramatically their break-even point. Now, the other alternative is to invest in a machine that would easily eliminate all this yung mga variable cost that is incurred by having a lot of laborers, no? Sometimes they have they're more costly, no? And well, a machine can produce 10,000 easily, a new machine. So what's your strategic move? You have a short window before they launch, no? their products, huh? Counter market or disrupt their supply chain before their new capacity comes online. So I'm going to explain you later the case of Walmart. Now, the third and most critical is the R&D gamble, or yung research and development. You'll often find this in the notes to the financial statements. Low R&D spend signals complacency. So, para bang status ko na lang sila, no? So, they're not into too much innovation. They just seem to like their operations for what it is, no? But you cannot operate with that mindset in this global trend right now. So they are ripe. These people, no, who spend too much on the R&D, they are ripe for disruption, no. So start preparing your pivot now. So, but a sudden massive spike in R&D is a strategic warning signal. They are about to launch a product that will make your current model obsolete. So your strategic move, don't compete with their product. Compete with their category. Pivot before they force you out of business. Now, like I said earlier, we're going to take up the case of Walmart. Walmart during the 70s was known for its low cost, no? So ito yung sa Amerika, no, yung supermarket doon. So Walmart was the on top of the food chain, no? So its competition were Target, um, Macy's, these other brands, no? And during the late 70s to early 80s, no, they weren't able to sustain their low prices because continuous low prices would mean lesser profits or even loss. No, kasi ang nangyayari, no, yung sales nila, no, more their target was economies of scale, so it's quantity, but their cost of goods sold was also it's also huge, no? It's increasing. So what they did in order to compete, instead of relying on a few suppliers who were somehow they were calling the shots, meaning they can raise their prices and they have a long um, lead time, which a lot of Walmart customers would shift to other brands. No, so what Walmart did was they invested on this logistics center. Walmart stores is located on suburban, no? So parang 7-Eleven is like 7-Eleven. So instead of relying on one or two suppliers, sometimes they are foreign suppliers, which their goods would come in with a higher markup price, so they cannot compete with the low cost. No, so they just placed a logistics center around the 100-mile radius within that suburban, no? So nandun. So whenever a store, Walmart store needed some goods, they would supply it, no? So it's like just on time, no? Okay, just in time, I should say. So what happened was that they may have invested millions or hundreds of millions with that IT infrastructure, but somehow they were able to decrease their costs. And by doing so, nag-decrease yung cost of goods sold nila, their selling price, no, they have the leverage to play with their selling price, meaning they can afford to lower their selling price because they have a lower cost of goods sold. And what happened was that a lot of their competitors, they're just they were just blindsided and they could not follow Walmart, no, until Walmart became has established its brand as the low cost goods to go. Looking at this, these numbers aren't history. They are playbook for your company's future actions. Like I said a while ago, for a simple, you know, audience of the financial statements, this just looks another set of numbers, which are for compliance or for audit. But for a strategist, these numbers tell a story and the direction of the company. So your job as a strategist is to predict the next move and counter it before the market even knows what's happening. Master this and you stop reacting for and start dominating. Strategy is about exploiting weaknesses and preparing for the inevitable. So master the language of business and you master business itself. So don't forget to subscribe to the Business Pivot so you don't miss the next lesson for strategic dominance. Thank you very much and see you in the next one.